Dear friends, today we embark on an incredible journey into the depths of a philosophy that has been helping people find inner peace and rethink their life values for more than 2,000 years. We're talking about Stoicism, an ancient Greek teaching that, despite its venerable age, remains strikingly relevant today. In our modern world, where success is often measured by the number of likes, followers, or material achievements, many of us feel a peculiar emptiness. Does this sound familiar? It seems that a new car, a promotion, or moving into a spacious apartment should bring us happiness. Yet, even after achieving these goals, we often find ourselves feeling unfulfilled and anxious. Why does this happen? Why do even the wealthiest individuals sometimes feel poor? Today, we will explore 6 powerful principles of Stoicism that have the potential to transform your understanding of wealth and poverty. These ideas can help you discover true satisfaction and free yourself from the race for false values. Stay with us, and you will learn how to apply these principles to achieve not only material prosperity but also spiritual richness. The principle of wealth in simplicity. True wealth begins with simplicity. It is not measured by the number of things we can afford but by our ability to find joy in the simplest moments of life. Stoics assert that the pursuit of material goods does not bring genuine happiness. Every new purchase merely satisfies our desires temporarily, leaving behind a sense of emptiness and a craving for more. In today's world, we are often led to believe that happiness is tied to acquisitions. I'll buy a new car, and everything will change, or, once I get a higher salary, I'll finally be happy. Yet the truth is that such goals only distract us from real values. Even when we achieve them, we remain unsatisfied because our happiness stems not from external factors but from within. Stoics teach us to appreciate simple moments accessible to everyone. Joy can be found in the morning sunlight streaming through the window, in the aroma of a cup of coffee, or in the warm embrace of a loved one. These are the moments that bring genuine fulfillment, unaffected by time or circumstances. Consumer culture often makes us forget this, convincing us that happiness can be purchased. However, each of us already possesses the ability to find wealth in life's simple joys. The principle of wealth in simplicity helps us break free from the endless pursuit of bigger and better things. It teaches us to be content with what we have and to stop postponing happiness for the future. When we realize that joy comes not from external sources but from within, we become freer. We are no longer dependent on societal pressures, trends, or status. This does not mean rejecting comfort or material goods, but it reminds us that these are mere complements to life, not its foundation. By practicing this principle, we learn to notice the beauty around us. A simple walk in the park, a heartfelt conversation, or a book that touches our soul can bring more joy than any expensive purchase. These moments require no great expense, yet their value is immeasurable. Living simply is not a limitation but a way to unlock the richness of the soul. When we begin to value what we already have, we free ourselves from the anxieties tied to constant striving for more. We stop wasting energy chasing illusory happiness and instead discover what is truly meaningful, the treasures within us. This approach allows us to live more mindfully, in harmony with ourselves and the world around us. Stoics remind us that wealth is not something that can be lost. True wealth is a state of mind, the ability to enjoy what we already have. When we find joy in simple things, we enrich our inner world, becoming stronger and happier. This is the essence of wealth in simplicity, the art of living with gratitude and finding happiness in every moment. The principle of freedom from the judgments of others. Freedom from the judgments of others is one of the cornerstone principles of Stoicism, empowering us to achieve inner resilience and confidence. We live in a world where the opinions of others hold significant weight. Social media, societal norms, and expectations constantly exert pressure on us. Many of us feel anxiety and insecurity as we strive to meet these expectations. However, Stoics remind us that true human value is determined not by external judgments but by the richness of our inner world. Imagine how your life would change if you stopped depending on the opinions of others. By freeing yourself from the need to please everyone, you can focus on your true goals and desires. This freedom begins with the realization that other people's opinions are merely their perspectives on the world and do not define your worth. Stoics teach that our task is to remain true to ourselves, regardless of what others say or think. Often, our desire for approval becomes an endless race for recognition. We follow trends and conform to societal norms, losing sight of who we truly are. True satisfaction, however, comes when we accept ourselves as we are and stop trying to live up to others' expectations. This requires courage and a willingness to face disapproval, but it brings genuine inner peace. Stoics assert that our pain is often not caused by situations themselves but by how we perceive them. Understanding this helps us react less to criticism and focus more on our values. When we stop depending on external evaluations, we become more resilient to change and maintain calm even in challenging situations. In the age of social media, where every post is subject to likes and comments, the principle of freedom from the judgments of others is particularly relevant. We come to realize that our happiness does not depend on the number of online approvals but on how we perceive ourselves. This awareness allows us to resist the influence of the masses and build a life based on our personal values. Freedom from others' judgments does not mean indifference to those around us. On the contrary, it helps us foster more genuine and profound relationships. When we are not dependent on praise or criticism, we can be more open and honest. This creates space for authentic closeness and mutual understanding. This journey requires self-work. It is crucial to listen to your inner voice, often drowned out by external opinions. Meditation, self-reflection, and mindfulness practices help develop this skill. The better we understand our priorities, the easier it is to ignore external pressures and follow our own path. Freedom from the judgments of others makes us less vulnerable to manipulation. We stop reacting to criticism or praise as if they define us. Instead, we can calmly analyze situations and make decisions based on our principles. This builds confidence and allows us to feel in control of our lives. Realizing that every external opinion is merely a reflection of another person's perception liberates us from unnecessary worries. Stoics remind us, we suffer not from events themselves but from our thoughts about them. This understanding brings a profound sense of relief and peace. Freedom from the judgments of others is a path to genuine self-sufficiency. We come to understand that our value is not determined by how others perceive us but by our actions, thoughts, and convictions. This principle helps us stay true to ourselves, even when faced with criticism or misunderstanding. The principle of the wealth of inner freedom. The wealth of inner freedom is one of the core principles of Stoicism, teaching us how to find independence from external circumstances. Stoics assert that true freedom begins with understanding that, while we cannot control the world around us, we can control our reactions to it. This principle guides us in distinguishing between what lies within our power and what does not. In today's world, where much is dictated by external conditions, economic crises, societal norms, and material possessions, inner freedom is often overlooked. People fear losing their jobs, savings, or social status, but Stoics remind us that true wealth lies within and cannot be taken away. Our knowledge, experiences, moral values, and virtues are treasures that always remain with us. The less we are attached to material possessions, the freer we become. Stoics teach that the fear of loss disappears when we realize that true wealth is not tied to the amount of money in our accounts or the properties we own. This is not a call for asceticism but a reminder that material goods should be tools, not goals. When we stop depending on external factors, we experience an incredible sense of peace. External crises, such as economic instability or social upheaval, lose their grip on our inner state. We understand that while we can lose things, we cannot lose what truly matters, our character and inner strength. The practice of inner freedom helps us overcome fears. We worry less about the future and dwell less on the past, focusing instead on what we can do in the present. This clarity allows us to make decisions with a calm mind, free from panic or doubt. Stoics argue that the wealth of inner freedom makes us resilient in the face of any life challenges. When we encounter loss or hardship, we can rely on our internal resources, which no one can take away. This gives us the strength and confidence to overcome any circumstances. This principle helps us realize that material losses do not make us poorer. On the contrary, they can become opportunities to reevaluate our values and strengthen our spirit. We learn to see challenges not as threats but as opportunities for growth. Freed from material attachments, we begin to value intangible joys more. Simple things like friendship, love, creativity, and personal growth become uniquely precious to us. These aspects of life bring happiness that cannot be measured or purchased. Inner freedom gives us the ability to enjoy material goods without becoming their slaves. We can use comfort and conveniences, but we do not allow them to dictate our happiness. This skill gives us a sense of control and harmony in life. The wealth of inner freedom is also a path to wisdom. We begin to see the world from a new perspective, where values are defined not by external circumstances but by our attitude toward them. This principle enables us to live mindfully, maintaining our inner balance even in the most challenging situations. By practicing inner freedom, we free ourselves from the constant anxiety tied to material losses. We stop fearing change, understanding that it is inevitable and often necessary for our growth. This gives us flexibility and resilience, which help us face any challenges. Thus, the wealth of inner freedom is not just a philosophical concept but a practical guide to a life filled with meaning, harmony, and confidence. It is a state of mind that allows us to be happy regardless of external conditions. The principle of acceptance. The principle of acceptance is a cornerstone of Stoic philosophy, teaching us to embrace reality as it is rather than waste energy resisting it. Stoics argue that much of our suffering is not caused by circumstances themselves but by our resistance to them. When we learn to accept events beyond our control, we find inner peace and harmony. Acceptance does not mean passivity or inaction. It is an active process of awareness and understanding of what is happening. Instead of fighting reality, we can use our energy to seek solutions and grow. The Stoics emphasize that our task is to focus on what we can change and let go of what is beyond our power. This principle is especially relevant in a constantly changing world. We cannot prevent crises, losses, or disappointments, but we can change our attitude toward them. Acceptance helps us stop complaining about circumstances and start looking for the opportunities they bring. For example, losing a job could be a chance to rethink our career path and explore new possibilities. When we practice acceptance, we free ourselves from guilt over things we could not prevent. We stop asking, "Why did this happen to me?" and begin thinking about how to use the situation for our growth. This teaches us to be flexible and find meaning even in the most challenging experiences. Acceptance also strengthens our relationships with others. When we accept people as they are, without judgment or unrealistic expectations, we open the door to sincerity and mutual understanding. We stop demanding from others what they cannot give and start appreciating their uniqueness. This principle applies to ourselves as well. Accepting our emotions, fears, and weaknesses helps us understand ourselves better. Instead of denying our feelings, we can learn to work with them, channeling their energy into constructive actions. This makes us stronger and allows us to move forward with confidence. The Stoics remind us that acceptance does not mean surrendering to poor conditions. It simply frees us from unnecessary resistance, enabling us to focus on actions. When we stop wasting energy fighting the inevitable, we can redirect it toward improving what is within our control. Acceptance of reality teaches us to be grateful for what we have. Instead of fixating on what we lack, we begin to notice the abundance of opportunities and resources already present in our lives. This helps us feel richer and more content. The practice of acceptance allows us to handle failures more effectively. We stop seeing them as catastrophes and start perceiving them as lessons that make us stronger and wiser. Every challenge becomes an opportunity for growth and self-discovery. This principle also teaches us to value the present moment. We stop living in past regrets or future anxieties, focusing instead on what is happening here and now. This makes our lives more meaningful and fulfilling. In this way, acceptance is not a sign of weakness but a demonstration of strength and wisdom. It helps us see beauty in simple moments, find harmony in chaos, and achieve freedom even in seemingly restrictive conditions. The principle of acceptance allows us to live fully, without wasting energy on battles we cannot win. The principle of investing in character. The principle of investing in character is a cornerstone of Stoic philosophy, emphasizing that true wealth is measured not by material possessions but by the quality of our inner virtues. Stoics highlight that developing character, virtues, and knowledge are the only investments that cannot be lost. Material possessions can disappear in an instant, but our inner strength remains with us forever. Investing in character means dedicating time to education, self-improvement, and spiritual growth. This process requires effort, discipline, and patience, but it yields the highest returns. Every hour spent learning something new, strengthening moral principles, or developing good habits makes us more resilient to life's challenges. The Stoics believed that virtues such as wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance form the foundation of a fulfilling life. By cultivating these qualities, we become more balanced, make thoughtful decisions, and navigate difficulties more effectively. Investing in character helps us build inner stability that is independent of external circumstances. This principle encourages us to focus on what we can control. While we cannot always influence the external world, we can always work on ourselves. Every step on the path of self-improvement fortifies our inner world, enabling us to face life's trials with greater confidence. Investing in character also helps us better understand ourselves. By recognizing our strengths and weaknesses, we become more aware of our actions and decisions. This awareness allows us to nurture our talents and address our shortcomings, continually striving to become the best version of ourselves. When we dedicate time and effort to developing our qualities, we inspire others by our example. Our confidence, wisdom, and inner strength motivate those around us to pursue their own growth. This creates an environment of support and mutual understanding, strengthening relationships with family, friends, and colleagues. This principle also teaches us how to handle failures. Instead of viewing them as defeats, we see them as lessons that help us grow. Each challenge becomes an opportunity to reinforce our character and enhance our resilience. Investing in character is a path to inner freedom. As we cultivate our virtues, we become less dependent on the opinions of others, material wealth, or external conditions. This independence provides a sense of confidence and security that cannot be taken away. The Stoics emphasize that character development is a daily practice. It is not a one-time effort but a continuous process requiring a mindful approach. Each day offers a chance to grow wiser, stronger, and better than the day before. The principle of investing in character allows us to find joy in the process of self-improvement itself. We begin to appreciate not only the end results but also the journey that leads us there. This makes our lives more meaningful and fulfilling. Thus, character development becomes the foundation of resilience, wisdom, and happiness. These investments always pay off, helping us not only overcome difficulties but also find joy in simple moments. This principle reminds us that true wealth lies not in external possessions but within our ability to grow, learn, and become better every single day. The principle of gratitude. The principle of gratitude is the foundation of inner happiness and harmony, which Stoics encourage us to embrace. It teaches us to appreciate what we already have instead of constantly striving for what we lack. Gratitude helps us focus on the present moment and see more positive aspects in life, even in difficult circumstances. Stoics claim that gratitude changes our perception of the world. Instead of complaining about hardships, we learn to find lessons in them. Even in unpleasant situations, there is always something to be grateful for, the experience we gain or the opportunity to become stronger. The practice of gratitude helps us realize that many of life's joys are already available to us. A morning walk, a friend's smile, a delicious meal, or a sunny day, all these are small reasons for joy that we often overlook. Gratitude brings us back to these moments and fills them with meaning. When we develop the habit of gratitude, we become more resilient to stress. It helps us stop focusing on what we cannot control and direct our energy toward what truly matters. This brings us a sense of peace and contentment. Gratitude strengthens relationships. When we express gratitude to others, they feel valued and important. This creates an atmosphere of understanding and trust, strengthening our connections with family and colleagues. Stoics remind us that gratitude is not just an emotion but an active practice. It is a conscious decision to notice the positive aspects of our lives and share them with others. We can start simply, by writing down 3 things we are grateful for each day. Over time, this will become a habit that changes our perception of life. This principle also teaches us to be grateful for the past. Memories of challenges we have overcome help us realize how far we've come. We begin to see each trial not as a defeat but as an opportunity for growth. Gratitude helps us rethink our goals. Instead of chasing the unattainable, we begin to value what we already have. This does not mean giving up ambitions, but rather learning to enjoy each step on the way to achieving them. The practice of gratitude makes us less dependent on external approval. We stop seeking happiness in things or recognition, realizing that everything we need is already within us. This leads to inner freedom and confidence. When we are grateful, we become more tolerant of others. We begin to notice their efforts and appreciate their contributions to our lives. This helps us build more sincere and deeper relationships. Gratitude is also connected with the ability to live in the present. We stop worrying about the future or regretting the past, focusing on what is happening right here and now. This makes our lives more meaningful and joyful. Thus, gratitude becomes a tool that helps us overcome difficulties, build relationships, and find happiness in every day. It fills our lives with light, making us stronger, wiser, and calmer. This principle reminds us that true wealth is not what we want to have but what we already have and the ability to be thankful for it. Stoics teach us that true wealth is not found in external achievements but in an inner state of harmony, confidence, and freedom. Simplicity, freedom from the judgments of others, inner strength, acceptance, and character development, these principles give us the tools for achieving true happiness. But the key is not just understanding them, but applying them in our daily lives. Start small today, be grateful for what you already have, let go of unnecessary expectations, or take a step towards self-improvement. Every day is an opportunity to become better and happier. Let these steps mark the beginning of your journey to the wealth of the soul and mind. If you want to continue discovering the incredible world of Stoic philosophy and be inspired for change, subscribe to our channel. Like this video to support us, and share your thoughts in the comments. Which principle resonates with you the most? What steps do you plan to take? Your comments inspire us to create new content and help us become better. Together, we can build a community where every step toward wisdom makes us stronger.